Well, good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rufus Bill, and would like to welcome you to another edition of Talking To. Talking To is a weekly program that deals with human interest, stories, and uh, organizations, and things that just get you to think and to make you just say, It's 1 hour, and we have been on for the last 12 weeks, and we have been honored to come into your cars, into your homes, on your phone, wherever you are, give you great content. Now it is the 4th of February, and we are celebrating Black History throughout the year, but especially in the month of February. And I am so glad that the country has acknowledged the contributions and the sacrifices of African American people. You know, we have evolved from various names, from it was colored, Negro, and Black, and now African Americans. Whatever the name is, we are a race of people that are ingenious, and it's good for us to know, but it's good for other people to know, but it's better for us to remember and to know our own worth. And before I get on a tangent, let's bring in the lovely Joanne Tosin Fuller. Good afternoon, Joanne.
Good afternoon, Rufus. Good afternoon. I was like, okay,
I know. I
Black,
felt
African American, colored.
I felt it coming on in my spirit. I said, "You better stop."
I can feel it rising. I was like, ooh, okay.
I said, I don't know.
But you know what? I think the title that they gave was colored.
Yes.
Was the most appropriate title they could.
Yes.
Even though they use it in the derogatory term, but I think it's the most appropriate title that they could have given us, because we are colored folks. We're from light bright, almost white, to black as tar, and all. I mean, and the whole
and everything in between.
Everything in between, and a beautiful people. A beautiful people.
Yes, we are, and I'm very glad and proud to be a Black person, a person of color.
Yes.
You know, I just never thought of being anything else. And you know how I've heard people say, "Well, I just wish I wasn't," but that never entered my psyche.
No, me either. Me either. You know, even though you see the privilege, the white privilege, and you saw all of that, you know, coming up, and the prejudice and all of that.
Right.
But I never wanted to be. Look, I was an activist as a little girl. I was getting in trouble. I went to, Davidson.
Right.
Look, I got in trouble because I had a Free Angela Davis sticker on my book bag.
No.
Yes, I
did. not Free Angela.
Like, she can't have that sticker on her book bag. I'm like, well, why not? What? Look, I was with the Black Panthers back then.
As a child. Who was the principal back then, Joanne?
Ooh, Jones. Was it Richard Jones? Was it
Richard Jones?
That was his name? I know Jones, and then Ford.
Oh, so you were right. You were on the Ford. I remember
Ford.
Right.
Those are only two I think that I had. Yeah.
Yeah, Brother Ford. Yes, I do remember him. With that mustache.
Oh yes. Oh.
How was your day today?
Mm-hmm. It was good. It was busy, but it's good. I can't complain. How about you?
My day was great. Of course, I went to church today. I had to play at church, so that went along well. Okay. And after that, I just made a couple of errands and came back to the house.
Hey, that's a relaxing day,
right? Like a good boy should. I said, I'll wait till
you
after.
Out rolling.
Right.
I said, you went out cruising.
Oh, that is too funny. So, Joanne, we have got to talk about it
Oh
because
boy, here it comes.
we
It was rigged.
it was. I'm going to agree.
It was
Now,
rigged.
Joanne, when we got off the air last week, I said I never watched the games, while they were ascending to the playoff and all the way to the pinnacle where they reached. I would just go to sleep and wake up and know that we were champions.
And I wanted to hear the score.
Just wanted to hear the score.
But I watched that game last week.
You watched it last week?
I watched the whole game last week. I was mad.
And I already know what you think. You said it was rigged.
It was rigged. It was rigged. Somebody got paid. It was I'm telling you. There's no way that you could play those first two halves. Those first
get those points.
And get those points. And the third quarter, you playing like little kids. You couldn't catch the ball. You're tripping over your own feet. You're fumbling. I'm like, this is not the same team. And then even into the fourth quarter. And then at the end of the fourth quarter, now you're going to start catching the ball again. Now you're going to start. And then on the fourth down, when you could punt, you couldn't punt. They didn't elect to punt to even get more points. I'm like,
What is really going on?
See, that's why.
I was so crushed. Have you ever seen the episode of Andy Griffin when the members of the town, they had a band and they were going to this playoff, but the band was horrible. And so they had some professional players to play to get them to get them to be able to qualify for this big whatever it was that they were going. And so right before they said that they could go, the what do you call the people that stand in, the fakers were there playing the instruments, and on the town was all like, yeah, that's our team. Those are that's our band. But when they got on the bus to leave the town, the original members were on there, and then they started playing, and they were sounding horrible. So when you were describing the one team that was playing the first two halves,
it's like, oh my goodness.
Then Alice said she saw that. Alice Beard said she remembers that episode. Then they put the real team back on. And I said, when I saw that, after I woke up, I said, dog, there's Joanne's Pussycats again.
They went back to Pussycats. They were meowing instead of roaring. I couldn't believe it. But you know what? When the guy said that there's 52 players on this team.
Yeah.
Last week, our guest last week, and I'm sorry I said the guy because I'm sorry, but I don't know his name. But yeah, and it's like, well, they put the wrong players. That's 52. They need to. They put the ones that were playing in that third quarter need to go have a seat. They need to be on the bench because you got 52 players and you can't catch a ball. You can't.
Out of 52.
Out of 52. You gonna
at some point you're seeing what now. I'm Sunday night coach. I don't know nothing. But I'm a coach this team.
I'm talking like I know. That's the first game I watched all season.
Wait, Joanne. I said, well, listen to her using all the terminology. I said she's been holding back. I said, oh, wait, Joanne.
That was talking. Look, our guest last week told us all of that.
Yes, he did.
Okay. So is that what that is? Is that what that is? And then, my husband over here fussing like a mad dog.
You had no choice but to watch.
Screaming and I'm like, ooh.
But I said, why didn't they? Okay, you're not catching. Let's get rid of you. Throw somebody else in there.
Yes.
And I don't know if you're able to do that in football.
I couldn't tell you either. I don't know. But they need to sit down. They need to have a seat. That third quarter team, whoever they were, they need to have a seat.
they need to get on the bus and have a seat. Oh man, that was unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
One of my colleagues from the media they were covering the story when they returned home, and he told me when they went into the locker room, you couldn't hear nothing. They weren't saying anything. They just were packing their bag.
their stuff. Well, you know what? You ought to feel bad. You ought to feel, but you know that's still my babies.
Yes,
Those still my pussycats.
Wait,
but and I'm gonna always be hey, but can y'all come on.
Well, Joanne,
but they haven't gone this far in years.
Right. So we are very proud of our Detroit
Lions.
We are.
Yes, we are.
And you know that
yes,
as colored people of color, we always say you can do better. There's always room for improvement.
Room for improvement.
We're going to keep our fingers crossed for next year, and I don't know if we can, as Justice says, these nail biting games.
I'm telling you.
And speaking of which, Justin is not with us today. However, I read some of his posts. Did you just read any of his?
A few, yeah.
He was the ultimate coach. I said
maybe he should have been out there.
Thank you. I said, well, Justin must be a silent partner, because he had plays for them to do, and he said, "Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that?"
Hey, I know what he was talking about, but I'm like, yeah, they probably should have done that.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you.
So Joanne, I want to do a little venting today.
Okay.
Now, you can tell me what you think about this. And if you're just tuning in, it's talking to Joanne Tosin Fuller, Rufus Bill, and Justin Hearn. Yesterday, I decided for dinner I was going to have super nachos from Xochimilco's in Mexican Town.
Okay.
I hadn't been there in a while. And, you know, for most people that have been or that have lived in the city of Detroit for any length of time, usually have ventured to Mexican Town to get an authentic meal. So the first sign that I knew I should not go is when I called and they said, because I think they closed at 9:30, and it was 8:03. I called to place the order, and she said to me, we're not taking any orders after 8 o'clock. You have to come in and place the order. And right now it's a 30-minute wait. Okay, no biggie. I get down there, made my order. Then I went upstairs just to hang out because I had a little time. And so as I was upstairs, I said, she didn't ask me about, did I want sour cream? I said, maybe it comes with the meal. So I get on my cell phone and I call back downstairs, lazy. And I said, does sour cream come with that? This is Alex. And she said, no, that's extra. I said, okay. I said, well, just put that, I want to. And so I get downstairs and I realize I don't have any change, but I still had my card. And so I think it was $1.25 for a little cup, but I got two. And so the guy that was standing there said, well, we're going to have to charge you $5. And I stood there for a minute. Now, I looked around to see if I saw anyone that I knew, because I was debating whether I was going to be Rufus good or Rufus not so good.
Oh, boy.
So, the good outweighed the bad. I said, $5. I said,
Then give me 4 or 5.
Now that's what I should have done. But I said, I just spent $30. She didn't do an upsell for the sour cream. I said, are you going to charge me $5? And he looked at me Yes. I was outdone. I was
And
I
the
don't know
little
why.
cups they put them in, he could have given you 2 cups.
$1.
Really?
You're gonna miss $1 off my $30 that I spent. And I just thought about it. I said, it's very interesting when you're dealing with customers and a clientele. It's all about the clientele. Now, I had no problem paying it because if I'd had the change, I would have. And if I really
Right.
wanted it, I would have just bought 4 and just been gone, just went on.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that whole situation, not really respecting my money as I think that they should, it's the end of the night. Whenever you do your drawers and tally out and whatever, I'm sure that $1 or $2 worth of sour cream, because you've charged everybody all evening, would that have made a difference? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I know that as that $1, if it's so many people, could
Yes,
add up. As a business owner
yes,
myself, I do understand that.
I do.
But every now and then you have to, there's something they call customer service.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's something so, and I think a lot of people, I see a lot of places getting back to it, but I still see a lot of places that have forgotten
Running
about
from it.
customer service. And it wasn't that like you were just asking for free.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, you could have thrown in a couple. How many cents was that really?
Really.
That's cents. Because
In
when
the
you
whole
buy it by
scheme
the
of
gallon,
things. Exactly.
it's cents.
You don't have
It's
Elsie the
not.
cow
It's
back
not
there making
dollars.
us doing sour cream.
Right.
She's not in the back.
Yeah.
When
So yeah, I hear what you're saying,
I
and
was,
yeah.
and I get everything. This is our rule. This is our. But sometimes you have to
But
give to
sometimes
get
it's customer service.
customer
Yeah,
service.
it's customer
So that's
service.
my vent for the day, and I'm going to be nice because we have a special guest today.
I had this feeling she knows you already, Rufus. So.
But listen, it is Black History, and we want
Yes.
to pay homage. And Joanne, you're going to do a salute for our Black History at this time.
At this time, yeah. So we know that we celebrate. Most of us know that it's usually we celebrate. I'm Black 24/7, 365. We
Yes.
know that. And so just wanted to remind people how Black history started.
Oh, great.
And it really didn't start um, as Black History Month. So just looked up some information regarding Black history. And in 1926, there was a gentleman named Carter G. Woodson,
Mm-hmm.
who was a scholar. And he was often referred to as the father of Black history. And he established what it was called then Negro History Week. It was not called Black History. It was called Negro History Week to focus attention on Black contributions to civilization.
Mm-hmm.
And according to the NAACP, Woodson at the time, he was the second Black American after W.D. Du Bois to earn a doctorate from Harvard University.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yes. And he believed that Black people should be proud of their heritage and that all Americans should understand the largely overlooked achievements of Black Americans. So Woodson chose the week of February. Now, this is how Black history became February, Black History Month. So Woodson chose the week of February because Abraham Lincoln, whose birthday was February 12th, and Frederick Douglass, who, he was enslaved and he really didn't know his actual birthday, but Frederick Douglass chose his birthday to be February 14th.
Really?
So that's why Woodson chose February as Black History. Black
History Week.
History Week. Yep. So those two people, because the 12th and the 14th fall in the same week. Usually.
Yes, they do.
Usually, yep. So those two people were central for helping to afford Black people the experience of freedom that they have now. And that's how he felt. And that's why he started that. And so there's a Marvin Delaney, who is the president of and I've never heard of this association, the Association for the Study of African American and Life and History. So I guess the what do they call it? The letters ASALH.
Oh.
And
okay, the acronyms. Okay.
That's the acronym for Study of Association for the Study of African American Life and History. So Woodson founded this association in 1915. And today it is the official promoter of Black History Month, even today in 2024.
Really?
In 2024.
I didn't expect you to say that the organization was still
it's still, like I said, yeah, we don't hear that. I don't hear the acronym. And what would the acronym be? ASA, like NAACP, but ASALH.
Interesting.
Yep. So in 1976, President Gerald Ford, that's when they declared Black History Month in 1976. So it just became Black History Month in our lifetime.
That's only 47 years ago.
1976, yes.
Unbelievable.
And so they said that Gerald Ford called to the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. So in 1976, he signed the declaration to have it called Black History Month.
Wow.
And today, Black History Month is also celebrated in Canada.
Okay.
And in the United Kingdom, but it's not in the United Kingdom, it's celebrated in October.
Oh, really? Interesting. I wonder, why did they choose October?
I don't know. That's something I would love to look up, to see why October for there in the United Kingdom. It probably has something to do with them, their emancipation or something.
Probably.
So each year, ASALH chooses a different theme for Black History Month. And this year in 2024, their theme is African American and the arts. So they're concentrating on all Black artists, whether it's throughout the United States. And it says in 2024, we examine the varied history and life of African American arts and artisans. And so Delaney, who started this thing is still going on in 2024. And so I'm really getting ready to do some more research on ASALH, because seriously, I've never heard of it.
Never.
I've heard of Black African American studies, but not this particular group.
Right.
So they're still going strong today. And they're the ones who, I guess, like they say, determine what the focus is going to be for that year. Okay. So this year is African American arts.
African American arts. It's interesting because they have a obviously still have a strong presence. It's just not visible to the average person.
Right.
But I guess it is something.
You learn something new every day.
Every day.
And I love my history. I love my Black history. But this was interesting to me. I was like, what is this association? What? So I'm going to look that up. But yep, Woodson his name is Carter G. Woodson, who founded actual Black History Week, and now it's Black History Month.
I would love to interview or find out, see if we could find interviews about his family now. How they feel that, how do they feel that this man, that their monarch had started this and has changed the world, with starting off as Black History Week, and now is evolved into a month, and all of the things that surround it and that go along with it. That would just be interesting to get their perspective.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yes, it would. Yeah. Yes, it would.
Yeah, so I'm going to do some more research on him.
Great. And once again, tell us what the theme is for 2024.
the Black African arts. African American and the arts
African
is the title
American.
of the theme for 2024.
Oh, now you know what you just gave us a whole different on look that, because I haven't heard anyone say that in any media circles. Have you?
No, not at all. Not at
Interesting.
all. Interesting. Isn't that
Wow.
interesting?
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Mm-hmm.
is. I'm glad you shared that with us. And
Yes,
you
yes.
know what is very interesting this week in the classroom, I um I had first graders,
Mm-hmm.
and so I introduced them to the song, the National Black Anthem, that
Okay.
they had never heard of, was not familiar with it at all, and We Shall Overcome, that particular song.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I talked to them about it, and the what those songs represent to Black people. And so then I played the song, a rendition of by Diana Ross singing "We Shall Overcome," very
Mm-hmm.
beautiful arrangement, and then the National Black Anthem by Aretha Franklin. And when I played it, these little kids, they got completely silent when she was singing Aretha Franklin.
All right.
And then they started humming. Now, they didn't know the tune of this song. They never heard of it. But all you could hear was a and then some kids were trying to sing with her. They don't know the words. They just saying words. Just
Mm-hmm.
yeah, uh-huh. So whatever it was that they were chanting. And I was just simply amazed. And so after the song played, I asked them, I said, well, what did you think about the song? And the one student said, Mr. B, she made me want to cry.
Oh.
It was just something how she sang. And he's 6 years old. The way she just making me feel, I don't know what to do. And
See?
I said, look at that. And I told them, I said, this is what we're all about. I said, we have so many gifts and talents. And I said, and you all are the same. You have talents. You may not know what they are now. I said, but you'll discover them. I said, some of you may already know. I said, but you're going to have to work at it and be the very best. And with all of this, and I'm, really trying to just give it to them and expose to them and make them think. And one student raised their hand and said, Mr. B. So I'm really feeling good. I said, yes. When is snack time?
He just broke that spell.
He said, that's enough of what you're talking about.
I'm done now. But it's so, I think that's wonderful. And you know what? Our children are so, they're like sponges.
Mm-hmm.
They're like sponges. And it's so sad that that it's not in the homes like it should be. Black history is not, like you said, even with this, you don't hear about this. If I hadn't gone on to do some research about, because I wanted to find something different that
exactly,
and the same people we talk about all the time, but we don't teach our children, and they will just absorb it and just, I just think that's beautiful. But we it's a lost story. It's a loss, and it's sad because when you don't know your history, that old saying, you tend to repeat it. We can see how they're trying to digress.
Exactly. Right in front of our eyes.
And right in front of our eyes. And people don't see it.
Nope.
People don't see it.
No, they don't.
It's really sad. But that's awesome.
Yeah, that was.
That is so awesome. Yeah.
Well, it is Sunday, February 4th, and we were just giving our salute to Black history. And we're going to get over to our guest. And I think it was a beautiful segue that we are celebrating in 2024 African Americans in the arts, correct?
The arts, yes.
And we have an artist today, and she's an author. and her name is Kierra Correia, and we would like to welcome her to Talking To. Good evening, Kierra. How are you? You doing all right? There you go. I had you muted. I'm sorry. How you doing
You can
today?
hear me now.
Leave it to me.
Not your fault, Kierra.
Right. It's on the engineer today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yes, we are glad to have you here. And you have, first of all, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, first, Ms. Joanne, I would have to thank you for that wonderful information. And it's crazy. I never knew that each year there's a different um, aspect of our wonderful and rich history that they focus on because, like you said, I never knew about that organization.
Exactly.
And you
Telling
wouldn't
you.
know because it's not really broadcast. And I think it'd be awesome if we were able to get it out there because even educators can then focus more on that. And it would give us as a whole so much more information. And I think it would be very good for the kids.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
for us as a populace, period, it'd be incredible.
And you know what's
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
here,
And,
when we get information like this, it does something to us, and it will help us to stick our chests out and be proud and to know that this is what we're celebrating and this is why we're celebrating.
right.
And so many artists like yourself and others um should be made known, especially this year because of the theme.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And that's what I like about it too. It sounds like that each year is a different theme. So each year it can help whether you're an educator, whether you're somebody that's trying to teach Black history, then you can
yeah,
have something to focus on. Like, so if now this year's the arts, so now you can pick artists this year. If next
Yes.
yeah,
year it's something else, if it's
yeah,
contractors or whatever, then then you can focus on that. And then you can have a diverse
yeah,
you can give children diversity or people period diversity, and
y-
you're not talking about the same people every year, and then you could focus on different, like you said, different people, different
Hmm.
groups of people.
Hmm.
yeah,
So because we are so broad and we are so, I mean, we're all over the scope.
Yes, we are.
We do everything. They
Hmm.
try to put
everything.
us in a box, but they can't put us in a box. They
At
try
all.
to at
It,
all.
it, yeah. Oh yeah. I completely agree. And as you said, we're people of color that ranges in so many different shades, but we also range in so many different talents and skills and things that we bring forward
Yes,
to
yes.
each other. And when we come together and acknowledge those, we're unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
Certainly.
And
I like
that's
that.
what they don't like. That's exactly what they don't like. They can't hate it. But and I think that's a gift from God, because whatever we put our hands to, when we really put our hands to it, we
Hmm.
excel.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We excel. We really
Exactly.
do. And I think that's a gift.
And
Yeah.
whenever you think about how all those years ago that um, the Africans had were so far ahead of the
Yeah.
world, indoor plumbing,
Yeah.
of course, building the pyramids, uh, their writing, and there was something else I just learned and it escapes me, and I just think about wow, and how even Socrates and all of these famed theologians and philosophers went to Africa to study how were they doing this. Still couldn't understand it,
Mm-mm.
but they witnessed it and just were just in shock.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's something.
it is something. It is something.
Hmm.
So,
I,
Kira, what were
yes.
you going to say? Something?
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say. So, tell us about how did you get started um, being this creative artist?
So I am by education, I'm an early childhood educator myself. And I've always loved, teaching kids and being with kids and reading as a whole. But this endeavor actually started with a dentist visit, which is why the first book is The Dentist.
Okay, Alexander the Dentist.
I hate the dentist,
I'm
like
with
most
you.
people. And I went to my little guy's very first dentist appointment, and the dentist was amazing. And he was sharing his passion with me, and that he was trying to change people's perspective on the dentist, because most people don't like the dentist. And as he shared his passion with me, I'm like, that's awesome. And then one night I'm, putting my little guy to bed, and I'm like, what if we can share that passion with kids?
Mm.
And then I started thinking some more, and then book 2 came to me.
Okay.
And book 2 is dedicated by my dad. I'm a lot biased. He's the best mechanic in Detroit.
All right.
I think I need that number.
It was his life story and his passion and how he got started. And it's funny because I gave it to my dad as a birthday gift.
Did you?
I published it in time for his birthday. And he was like, and he read it. He's like, you remember that story? Because it's literally on his life.
Wow.
And so this series came because as an educator, you read so many books to your students. As a parent, you read countless books to your children, and they're all about your feelings and adventure and everything. And that's great. Nothing about that is bad. I love that, especially when you get the kids' brains moving. But one thing that I noticed lacks a lot of is, hey, what are you going to do when you're older?
Yes.
So I have older children as well, and they're done high school, and it's like, okay, what do you want to do? They're like, I don't know. And like talking to their friends, it's like, I don't know. And then I'm like, okay, do you like, the one girl was like, oh, I want to be a nurse. I'm like, okay, but what type of nurse? She's like, how many are there? And it's like, there's so many, like, oh, I want to be an engineer. What type of engineer?
Oh my goodness, yes.
I want to be a lawyer. What type of lawyer? And or a lot of kids, I hate school. I just want to finish high school. Perfect. What trade would you like to go into? Because a lot of people don't want to acknowledge the fact that trades are a great career that you don't necessarily need college or university, and you can have an amazing life and support yourself and your family. Yes. So as a parent, I'm like, I need my kids. I need kids, every child, to know their options, to know more of what's out there. So the series all started by teaching kids, okay, so what can we do when we're older? And each book is dedicated by someone different. So the last one is a carpenter. And in grade 6, I had this amazing shop teacher. I was the only female in class. And he taught me so much about the amazing skill and artistry that goes into carpentry. Yes. And I appreciate him so much. And it's funny because, going back a little bit more, when I first published this book, I kept it very hush. And
why did you?
Honestly, I can't tell you.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know why. And so my mom came over.
You were just quiet about your baby. It was your baby.
You know what? That could very well be, especially because Alexander is my baby. He is my youngest. And so the character is based off of him. All of my children are in the books. And so the character is based off of my youngest. And so my mom came over, and I was like, hey, Mom, I have a surprise for you. She's like, what? Like, and I handed her book 1. She's like, wow. What is this? And I'm like, just look at it. She's like, you wrote a book? And then she started telling me, she's like, do you remember when you used to write and like scribble, draw, and illustrate and staple them together, give them to your kid? And I'm like, no.
Really?
And wow. She still has them. And I was like 6, 7. I used to write, illustrate illustrate these books, and I used to give them to her, and she's like, it's so fitting that now you're doing this.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And so, and it's the very beginning of this endeavor. There are hundreds, over 1,000 positions within fields that kids should know a little bit more about, because in each book, if you teach them the passion, the skill, the interest to get to what this career is, when they get older, they will know, okay, hold on. In high school, I need to do this. I need to do this. I don't need to go to college. So I'm just going to, I'm not going to stress over that too much.
Mm-hmm.
They'll know more their options, more their avenues. And in beginning this, I did a lot of different markets and a lot of different events. And a lot of people are like, where was this when I was a kid? I'm like, me too.
Exactly.
For real.
and Kierra, I have had conversations with adults now that still don't know what they want to do.
Yeah.
Yes,
and countless people go to college or university, spend all this time and money going into a field that then when they get in, they're like, I don't want to do this.
Exactly.
Like, I hate this. This is not like, and so this is a way, and for a lot of people, it's late. I get it.
Yes.
But my goal is to teach children around the world what they can do. They're infinite possibilities, and the more we get out there, the more we teach the kids. And the easiest way is when they're younger. Like Joanne said earlier, kids are sponges, and the more we pull into them at a young age, the more they will prosper later on in life. And so for 20, 30, 40-year-olds, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little late. But I am in my 30s, so it was late for me too.
But you still have time. You still have time.
Exactly. You still have time. I'm in my 30s and I'm just starting this. So
that's a blessing.
Yes, it is.
It is an enormous blessing, and I'm very, very grateful for everything that I have been blessed with, because it's not easy. I'm not going to lie and say it is, but it's my passion. It's something I'm truly passionate about. When you're passionate about something, you will continue to fight through whatever battles you have to go through, or obstacles. And sometimes it's the smallest things, but you still have to fight through it. And we as adults have to show that to our kids. If this is your passion, if this is what you want to do, don't give up.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. You're going to have your good trials and your bad trials, and you're going to have your good times and bad times. Don't give up. And for me, because of the fact that I do want to teach kids, I went to school for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to teach kids all around the world their possibilities, so that the next generation knows a little bit more than we did.
Yes, amen. Amen. Because each generation is supposed to get better and better and better. It really is. And so yes, I love that. Love it. I'm really interested. Well, I want all of them. Right now. But I'm really, because my dad was a carpenter by trade.
Oh,
yes.
So I would love.
So he taught me everything that he.
Oh. That's
I used
awesome.
to work with him with all of that. In fact, when he passed, my brothers, I'm the only girl, but my brothers gave me his saws, his table saw.
Really?
All of that. Yeah. In fact, I have them in my garage right now.
Wow.
You're the one who does the woodworking. So, hey, you can. So that I'm really interested in that.
I would love.
I want all of them.
I would love your opinion on it as well. Then, and it's funny because I used to go to work with my dad.
Same here.
He always said that it was going to be Curtis and Kiara's shop, and I'm like, I'm a tomboy at heart. But once that puberty set in, and you start to look a little cute.
Right, you like later.
I understand. True, I really do. I understand. I was such a tomboy. I was out there in the trees. I was getting higher than the boys in the trees, playing football barefooted on the street. My mother used to make me She was like, I'm gonna put a dress on you. I'll put a dress, and I throw the shorts up under my dress.
Me and my brother used to fight because I used to steal his clothes.
But like
my mom wanted a little girl, and I wanted to, steal my brother's clothes and go play football and basketball.
Thank you. Softball. We was playing softball in the backyard, and hey, I had to play too. The only girl was my mother. She was like, oh my goodness, where's my little girl? But like you said though, when you started feeling kind of cute or you started getting that attention, at first you was fighting them, because then then it's like, ooh, then I got real prissy then.
and then you don't want to break the nails, and but my hair.
And concerned with how you look.
Girl, hey, I understand you totally. Mm-hmm.
But one thing I like about the conversation that we're having, and how these books can offer an option for children.
Yes.
But with the parents, and you can't see clear, and so I don't even want to distort these beautiful books, but you can see it on Joanne's Facebook page, and my Facebook page, and Justin's Facebook page after the show on how to order. But the one thing I like about this, as the parents read this to their children, it can not only spark a desire for their children, but it can spark something for the parents to even push their child more into a certain direction. Because right now in the school system, the kids are really into these computer games.
Yeah.
Roblox is one, and there's a lot of them. But they have no learning aspect to them. It doesn't expose them to becoming creative thinkers or to being assets to their community as they mature.
Yes.
And these books can put the parent on the right track.
Yeah.
To put their child on the right track. Because, we all can just say, we look and observe and see in the news just a different style of parenting.
Yeah.
That has gone kind of awry. But a lot of the parents are younger, and so they may have missed something themselves as growing up. But having one of these books, for them to read it and then say, oh, I want the best for my child.
Yeah.
I want them to be exposed, first of all, to good reading material. And second, put their heads on a thinking path.
Yes.
Because they're young, and you can, as Joanne said earlier, they're sponges. You can mold them. You can introduce them to so many different things. And I just think it's necessary in these times to be able, with everything that's going on, to be able to save the child and to expose them to their greatness.
And also even with the parents, because if, like you said, we have a lot of younger parents now.
Right.
And so even with the parents, like you said, you're in your 30s. It's not too, to me, it's never too late. I don't care if you're 40, 50.
Yeah.
If you need to do something, if you have a desire, do it. Let's go out and get it,
Yeah.
And so it could even inspire the parents that, oh, no, I didn't go to college, but guess what? I could go over here and go to this trade school.
Yeah.
I could go over here and do this, and which will also be an example to the child.
Yes. I 100% agree.
You know what? Let's look, and some of them can do it together.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's so true.
And
that is so true.
Now they're looking for people. Trades, they're looking for plumbers, they're looking for electricians, they're looking for carpenters, because everybody, for a while, everybody was an engineer, a lawyer, a doctor, everybody was trying to get those type of degrees.
Yes.
And so now the trades have fallen off. And so they're paying big time. I mean, when I say big time money, they're
Yes.
paying big time money for some of these trades.
And
And
a
if you're
lot of them,
good,
a lot of them will pay you to go into the trade, especially if you're a woman.
yes.
But and it's funny because, like you said, it can inspire even the older people, like, or parents, because you do see in each of the book the passion. Because again, each one has someone it's linked to. So my goal is for each book to have an interview, a dedication to one person, and that way it has that real life experiences in it. And with that, you see exactly what this person does, that passion. And then when you go and look at your child, you can say, oh, hold on, I notice you have this interest, you have that interest, you have this passion. Let me hear and foster that, because now you know the options that your child has. You know the skill set that they're going to need based on their interests in order to get further in life. And so, yes, for the 20s and 30-year-olds that are now parents and reading to these kids, we can start over.
Exactly.
That's right. That's
You
right.
can start over.
That's
You
right.
know, and it has nothing to do with what age this person's at.
Right.
Your time is infinite as long as you're willing to go and do it. There's people that start over their 50s.
That's
And
right.
that's okay. That
Amen.
is perfectly okay. And so when we have the tools and the assets and we have the knowledge, we can go forward and be the best selves, and we can show the younger generations, hey, we did our best. We were our best selves. And a lot of things, we just don't know. Like, I remember, like, I dropped my jaw when I found out how many different positions there are within fields. And it's like, I didn't even know that.
Exactly.
Like, I was talking with this gentleman one day, and he's classified as an engineer. He fixes the CT scans at hospitals and medical facilities. And it's like, that's a whole position that you don't even have to finish high school for. And you're getting paid well and traveling the world because there's such a lack. And so when we learn and share all this knowledge and all these different tools, your child, you can be unstoppable.
Yes.
And it all, like I said, it all started because my older kids are like, I don't know what I want to do. And I'm like, I don't know either.
Good luck.
And my youngest, like, you know what, we need to do better. And so as a whole, I am like, you know what, I have the education background, that teaching kids and everything else, so let's do better. Let's start today and do better. And that's where this series stems from. That's why the name of it is When I Grow Up. And as you read the book, it all starts with, so one person was like, oh, Alexander got a lot of careers. Each book starts with a dream.
Wow.
All right.
Why? Because our life starts with a dream. If you think about it, a doctor became a doctor because he had a dream, he had a passion. And so each one is like, okay, what am I going to do today? And it's all about bringing kids every possible option that they can have. Why limit them?
That's right.
There's no reason.
That's right. There's no reason to nowadays, because it takes everyone to run this world.
It does.
It's a village.
It takes everybody to run this world.
Yeah.
So there's no job that's too small, and no job that's, you got some big jobs, but there's no job that's too small. And I know my dad used to tell me, whatever you do, just be the best at whatever you do.
Yeah.
Just be the best. If you're going to be the street sweeper, then you be the best street sweeper. They're going to be looking, just be the best in what you do, the best that you can be. And so that girl, you're going to be right until when? Because
until.
Well, my little 4-year-old Alexander manifested something, so mama got to make it happen. he has
And that
some
is
he
so
has some
awesome.
expectations, some desires and wants. So mama's gonna have to make that happen one way or another.
Hey, hey. But
You
that is
know,
so awesome.
it is awesome.
Thank
And,
you.
and I was thinking as you two were conversing and talking about trades, I remember when I was in middle school, and there was a spotlight on trades
Yeah.
as well as college. And then, it just kind of faded out the trade, like Joanne
Yeah.
said, like just kind of faded away. People weren't really talking too much about it.
Yeah.
But I think you've resurrected the knowledge and the possibilities of what trades can do.
Yeah. And see, it's not just solely about professions where you need degrees for, and
Degrees.
that was really pushed even when I was in school. You got to get this degree, you got to go to college, you got to get this bachelor's and master's. It's like, but that's not for everybody.
It's not for
Right.
everyone.
Don't get me
That's
wrong.
right.
It takes a massive commitment, and it's a beautiful thing to go and get your doctorate and your master's and
Oh,
and all
yes.
that. I'm not putting that down by far. That is that person's path. I
Yes.
didn't I went to college, right?
Mhm.
So that's my path, and each path is necessary for that person. So, but there was this huge emphasis on college and university, and passing your SATs if you're in the States,
Right.
or or there's such this huge stress for a lot of kids that it's
Yes.
not even something that they want to do. It's not their passion. And so if we show them the other coin, the other hand, and say,
Yeah.
okay, you know what? That's okay. That is okay. Here's your other options.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
A friends of mine, they recently had a graduate this last year, and they had this big send off, as you would for your child. Proud to go into college.
Yeah.
Proud you graduated high school,
Yeah.
number one, and then have aspirations to go to school. Went to school, came back home on a visit, and never returned.
Yeah.
And they said, they're kind of upset and about the money spent. And I had to say to them, I said, the child understands better than you.
Yeah.
And at this point, there's no need to be mad or to be upset, but to stir your child into a different avenue
Yeah.
of how they can be independent, self-sufficient,
Mm-hmm.
self-reliant, that you won't have to take care of them for the rest of their lives.
Amen.
This is not the time to drop
Amen.
the ball and say, well, I'm not going to do nothing because you just that. This is the time you rally around and
Yeah.
and maybe get this book.
Yes.
Yeah.
As even though it's for little children, read
We
this
can
book.
learn something too. We as
You can learn
adults can
something
learn something
too.
Yeah.
too. Yes, we
You can learn
can.
something too. So
Mm-hmm.
I just love how it's in its simplistic form, but it packs a lot of information that can be life changing, not only
Thank
for the
you.
child, but for the adult as well.
Thank you. And yeah, a lot of parents get frustrated with their kids because, they do spend a lot of time and money going to school. And a lot of kids that I know from growing up, they did it to pacify their parents. They went to
Parents,
college, you went to university because that's what their parents wanted. That's not exactly what they wanted. And so a lot of times they do end up either dropping out, or they end up finishing but not going into the field. And so it's
Right.
like you have this certificate, diploma, degree, whatever, but you're not utilizing it because it was never what you wanted to do. And a lot of times, again, it's we don't have all the information, we don't have all the choices in regards to what can we do. And like you said, Rufus, it can be used for someone of any age in the simplicity of it, because although it is targeted for a younger audience, the information is still information. It's
yes, it
still
is.
Yes.
each
Yeah.
book. touches on the tools and the skills and the passion and all that behind that position. So it's still useful to anybody.
Yes.
Unless you're retired and say, I'm done with working. I'm gonna go collect my retirement checks and call it a day. With more power to you, you did it.
But even with people who retired, a lot of times they still have passions. A lot of times they still have, I look at some of my clients who retire, but they had passions to do other things. So even after their retirement, now they're doing their passions, which I wonder if they would have been doing the passion all along. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, we do things because it was expected. Certain things are expected of us. But I know, and just my dad, when I was in my 30s, my dad, he actually apologized to me because he said, because he was also a preacher also, but he told me, he said that scripture in the Bible where it says, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he gets old, he'll never depart from it, does not just mean biblical.
No, it doesn't.
It means you need to look at your children and see and start seeing what they are, who they are, what their passions are, what they like to do, what they don't like to do. And then, because my mom bought me my first sewing machine when I was 11 years old, because I was making everything before that by hand.
Wow.
And so after that, I was making all of my own clothes.
Wow.
All of my clothes. But they never directed me. Now, in this day and time, because, everybody's, the spectrum is just open. But back then, it wasn't, well, you need to go into fashion design, or you need to do, you know what I'm saying? So I was never, that was just, to them, it was just a hobby or something that I like to do.
Yeah.
And so, even now I still do prom dresses and wedding gowns and all that kind of stuff. But it would have been, I wonder if they had steered me in that direction, because I paint and I draw and all of that. So I was the artsy type.
Okay.
My brothers were the university children, they went to university. But, and he apologized to me, and he said, I wish I had, now that I look back, I could have steered you.
Yeah.
If I had really paid attention. And so as nowadays, as we see our children, and the world is so open to us, especially as Black people, the world is really open to us now. And so we can do and go into things that you never would have thought. You never would have thought. And so I just love it. So Rufus, when I get my books,
you're going to get it this week. I
need to get these for my grandchildren.
Right, for your
I
grandchildren.
need to get them for my grandchildren.
And Justin has
a
little boy. I think he's, what is he, Joanne? About maybe 4 or 5. Perfect for for he and his wife. I was thinking when you all were talking about wood shop, and I took wood shop, and I don't know what the projects were that you may have experienced, but when I took it, you could make, it was like 3 things that you had to make throughout the course of the class, and I chose the bullhead, and I don't know if that was something that your classes had, and so it was a bullhead, and so I was doing my very best to impress my dad, and so when after the project was finished, and I showed him, and he was very, this is really good, and I kept that bullhead for up until being an adult. And one day I ran across it, and I said that my dad was very encouraging. The horns were this way. But I said all that to say he was still encouraging what my passion was, even though I wasn't good at it. And that's what parents have to do. To push your child. Okay, so you're not really a good bullhead maker. However, you may be better at something else. And
Right.
and as for young parents or older parents that are still, they have influence on their child, encouragement is the key. Exposing them to opportunities and okay, you can't do this, but how about maybe a dentist, maybe an auto mechanic, maybe anything.
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 Yeah.
Anything to support yourself.
Anything to support
Anything
yourself.
that you can support yourself with.
And be an asset to society.
And an asset to society.
Yes.
You know, society, we're a beautiful mosaic. We're this beautiful masterpiece of talents across countless fields. And every piece is necessary.
It is.
Every piece is needed. And it, like we said earlier, there's so little people in the trades industry that they're begging for people. And it's like, okay. And I spoke with a lot of different people. They're like, in their field, they're trying to retire and they're like throwing money at them to get them to not retire because they don't have someone to replace them.
Yes. Yes.
And it's a lot of times.
My husband is the same thing. He retired, but they begged him to come back. So now he's back. He's part-time, but because they couldn't find, I mean, he's a welder by trade.
Yeah.
They can't find welders.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's back at his same job doing the same thing, even though he's a contract worker. He's not, and working part-time. He's not doing the full-time like he used to. But they can't find the tradespeople.
Yeah. And so it's like that with a lot of fields. And there's so many that's just like people don't know about. And a lot of times they don't know about it because it's not broadcasted, it's not shown to them. And this is one resource that we can do better for the next generation. We can do better, for the society if in 10, 20 years, because as you said, although yes, it is targeted for children and it is worded for children to understand, that also means that anybody can pick it up and understand it. Right. There is a big gap when it comes to a lot of education and resources for young adults. And so if anyone can pick it up, like, oh, hold on, that's an option.
Right. Didn't know.
Yeah, didn't know.
and I can make good money. Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's funny because a friend of mine goes, girl, you're gonna have to come up with a resource book. Like you're telling people all the fields, now you have to tell them how to get into it.
Exactly. How to.
Yeah. And again, creation.
Volume what though? Volume what? Volume 10, volume 20. This resource book is for volume 1 through 20.
Yeah. Series book number 1 to 20, resource book 1. 21 to 40, resource book number 2.
Hey, I love it. I love it
too.
And this is just the beginning of something that I truly believe in, and I truly believe that it will go far and help a lot of people, my children included, right? And that's what it's all about for me. It's all about the kids and doing better just one at a time, one book at a time.
Yes.
Giving them that knowledge, giving them that resource, giving them, because people were exposed to what, about 10 different careers, professions. You ask any kid in elementary school, firefighter, police officer, doctor, it's the typical, Did you know there was such a thing as a veterinary chiropractor?
Right. I didn't know.
Thank you.
So it's like all those different little things that kids can be exposed to one book at a time.
I love it. And you're changing the lives of parents, adults,
changing the world
and children.
Changing the world.
Kierra,
one book at a time.
One book at a time. How can we get your books?
So my books are on my website, creationsby-kc.com. And they're also on Amazon as well.
Great. If someone wanted to book you to come into their classroom, how would they do that?
Through my website, there is a few different ways that you can communicate with me. There's also, if you are a professional that says, kids need to know about my career, there is a form that you can fill out and possibly have a book dedicated to you. There is a form where you can subscribe to my email list to never miss a beat on anything going on, and where I will be having an appearance. I know in March, I will be at the University of Windsor. They have this event. So you can get an autographed copy at any time I'm at an event. Best way to know if I'm there is to subscribe to my email list. You'll never miss an event. You'll never miss a book release. When we're coming out with a new t-shirt idea, bag idea, or anything like that. There's also where you can do a comment or just message me. Like you can message me directly through the website. And then if you did want something a little more personal, a little more direct, my email address is kiara.c.author@gmail.com. So either way, you're going to get me.
All right. I love it. Well, we want to thank you so much for being our special guest here.
Yes.
And
Thank
once
you.
again, I want you letting everyone know you can go to our Facebook pages, Justin's or Joanne's or mine, and you'll see a clear copy of the 3 books that she has. So you can't really see it clearly, but you'll be able to see it on Facebook, and there will be her web address, how you can get more information about what Kierra does. Kierra, thank you once again for being a special guest today.
Thank you. It was an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely. You so much. You have a great evening and an awesome week.
You as well.
All right. Yes. So, great interview.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Great interview. I love it. I'm telling you. Oh my goodness.
And you know what's interesting about this is she really she really had me thinking.
Yes.
You know, on how not just myself, but how we all can extend ourselves to children.
Yes.
And especially into young parents, because there are a lot of young parents in their 20s, and they're trying to figure themselves out. And while they're trying to figure themselves out, they can help their own child by exposing.
That's right. Because just because you had a child does not mean your life is over.
Exactly.
You know, it does not. And you can keep moving as while you're taking care of your child, your children. Indeed. So, you know, don't think that, oh, I'm done, I'm over. I had these babies and there's nothing I can do. No, there's a whole lot you can do.
There's a whole lot.
This world can offer you so much. You just have to take advantage of it. You have to want it. You have to desire something better.
You really do.
Yes.
You have to pledge to yourself, listen, I'm going to be the very best person that I can be.
Yes.
I want my child to be the very best person they can be. And it is crazy. And just by the short time that I've been in education, and I've seen how fast those kids grow. The class that I had as first graders are now in 3rd grade. And then in a minute, they'll be
in high school.
And then they'll be young adults in a blink of an eye. And especially for me, for not having children. So I wasn't seeing that every day, watching my child grow and seeing the various changes. But now being in this particular place where I am in my life, to see it, it's amazing. And the responsibility is great for the adults to ensure that the kids can have an opportunity to do whatever it is that their passion is, to expose them. I keep wanting to show this book. I'm not showing it anymore because you can't see it, but to show them you can, the world is yours. It doesn't have to just be college. It can be trade. You can use your mind. You can create. You can become the best person that you
Yes.
ever thought you could be. And with so many resources, as Kierra said earlier, so many resources that are around now, and everything is here. There's no excuse to not. None whatsoever. While she was talking, and you all were talking, and and as we are celebrating Black History, and this is the year for, I had to write it down, Joanne, for African Americans in the arts. I was thinking about being at Davidson, and before I even knew what Black history was about, I remember it being taught in the school, and of course hearing it at home in the parents. But Miss Galloway was my teacher, Stephanie Galloway.
Wow.
And she put on the board, I'm gonna find this picture and post it, a big heart that said, and in the heart it said, "Black is beautiful." And that was on our bulletin board for the entire, not just February, but it stayed up there a while.
Wow.
And even things like that help you focus and realize your own self-worth. Maybe not so then, but as I grew and matured, and I'm like, wow, amazing. It really is. Yes. Joanne, give us something for the week.
Ooh, just Black history. Just find something to tell someone about Black history. Look up something. I mean, we're on our phones and tablets all the time. Look up something. Look up a new person, that you never heard of before.
Exactly.
And share that story with somebody.
And share that story.
Just share that story with somebody.
I love it. Joanne, you're gonna have to text me that organization again, because I want to post that.
Oh, sure.
Also, when I post these books,
okay,
about what this year, because I know when people see that, they're gonna be shocked and like, this is the theme for Black History this year. American artists, African American artists.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it
yes,
is.
It is.
Yes, it is. And once again, I encourage everybody to purchase a book. Get the series. They're very affordable, and
I'm gonna get the series for our church, because we have a tutoring program.
I didn't know.
Yes, we have a tutoring program that we do usually through the summer.
Okay.
And so I'm going to purchase a set for the church library.
Perfect.
So
that is awesome.
So it'll be in the library for some of the books for the children to read. Yeah, this is so awesome.
It is awesome.
So awesome.
And I think this is a perfect way to start a library for your child.
Yes.
Let me see. When I grow up, I didn't even have her to name the book. When I Grow Up, series number 1, Alexander the Dentist. When I Grow Up, series number 2, Alexander the Automotive Mechanic. I think she did name them all. And When I Grow Up, series 3, Alexander the Master Woodworker. Make this a part of your child's library. Yep. Start a positive reading resource for your child.
Yes.
Perfect. When they come home from school, tell them, go read something about Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Grab one of those books and read it, and then have them to read it over and over and over, so it can sink in.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And they'll remember when they need to start making those choices. They'll remember Alexander.
They'll remember Alexander.
They'll remember Alexander.
Mm-hmm. That was a great interview.
Yes, it was. It was. Thank you, Miss Kierra.
Yeah, I know that's right. Mm-hmm. So this is our last show. I know those 12 weeks went by quick, but we'll be back in 12 weeks. We're gonna take a little break. I meant to say this earlier. A millennial viewer asked me. She said, "Where is Justin?" I said, "Well, he wasn't on yesterday." "Well, I know. Where is he?" I said, "He was working." So then that next week, or the next time he was on, she said, well, where's Justin? I said, well, you have Joanne and Rufus. She said, well, yeah, I know, but where's Justin? I said, he wasn't there. He was working. And for those who may not know, Justin is into law enforcement. And so the third time she asked me, this was last Monday or Tuesday, it finally clicked. I said, you know, Justin is married. She said, oh. No, I didn't know. She said, oh, okay, well, wherever he is, he can stay. I was hoping he was going to be on when I told this story today. I said, she is really concerned about him. Then it just automatically, because, you know, I really wasn't.
One day.
I wasn't paying no attention. I was like, he wasn't there.
Sister girl, guess what? It was a
married,
Mrs. Hearn.
Right, married with children. Call Mrs. Hearn. Ask her where her husband is. She'll be more than happy to tell you. With me. But on behalf of Joanne and Justin and I, we really appreciate that you take the time every Sunday, 7 o'clock p.m. to be with us and share with us, have a laugh, get great information like we did today and on other interviews. And we appreciate you. We don't take your time and your sacrifice lightly. And with that, Joanne, you have a great evening.
You too.
And until we talk again sometime this week, stay out of trouble. How about?
I want my book. Look, and I want my book.
I'm gonna get you those books. You know what to say, Joanne. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. We really, really, really do appreciate you. And have a great, great week. And until we come back, and this is a couple of weeks, it'll go by just that quick.
It will.
Yeah, it really will. We look forward to seeing you same time on 7 o'clock p.m. on Sunday evenings. Get your week started with Talking To. Have a great one.
Have a good one.